Okay, Richard, this is the second attempt now. I'm trying to record into Camtasia with 3 different iPhones now. I have one here, all old phones. One here, I have my iPhone 6 here, and I have the Samsung S8 pointed on the keyboard here. So, and the last time I did it just now, Camtasia keeps on crashing, so maybe it's the switching between the sources that it cannot handle. Well, let's give it a try. I also have the old tablet still there, an Android tablet, which can show only to me the video stream from the video that I'm scoring. So that's really a nice setup. The computer can handle it. Now, can Camtasia handle it is the question. So I'm going to try to make a little video recording. Emotive, which also means sad. I didn't know that. And I'm going to following Guy's old composer blueprint course that I watched again the video. Just correlate with the video that you sent me recently. So let's hope Camtasia is not crashing, or otherwise I hope I can pick it up again. So let's start by loading the video. Like usual, music starts at 1, I set the cursor there, and then I go to import video. I already beach walk yesterday. I already fixed it a couple of times because Cubase was not able to read it, so I loaded it again in Camtasia and exported just as an MP4. And the sound was not correct, and that was because it was encoded to something else than H.246. It needs to be encoded to that audio format. So let's see if this works. It loads immediately, that's perfect. Where's the video? I don't see any video. There's the video, and is it upside down? No, this works great. Ah, perfect. So this is the video I'm going to use. Now, before doing anything with video scoring, be sure to put the audio track on linear, otherwise the markers will stay connected to the. No, otherwise this the audio and the video track will not be connected. Because when I change the tempo now, you see it stayed connected. But when I put it to bar and beats and change the tempo, they drift away. So let's keep this on linear, and the marker track has to stay to linear as well. Because otherwise, if I put it to bar and beats and I change the tempo, the marker floats away from the video. And oh, what happens now? I put it back to linear, the marker goes with the video. So we have to keep it like this. Now in this case it's not a big deal because there's only beats sound under it. There's no dialogue. So let's try to make a little video, little motive sad soundtrack. Before I continue now, I'm going to check my Camtasia recording. Where am I? Camtasia recording, and after that I'm going to start. Let's see. I'm going to switch back to this one now. There I am. Okay. See you after this short break. So very important with Emotive assets, kind of film scoring. Don't use a click track, so it should be ebb and flow. And if you want to use a click track, then first start with recording a singular part and then create a kind of a tempo map for this, so you can then arrange all the other instruments correctly under each other. Except when there's only a couple of instruments. I mean, why do you need a click track for? So let's see. Let's have a look at the video. Okay, so this is a very short video walk, beach walk, and because it should be sad, emotive, we're going to imagine this, that they lost something tragic, right? Or maybe they lost, yeah, they are on a point of divorce. Let's go there. And I think that very standard with this kind of scene is soft piano sound. So let's try it with. I made a kind of a template also here. Emotive reflection. So this is my emotive reflection kind of template. So I have a solo flute, solo alt flute, solo hobo, solo alt hobo, solo clarinet, solo bass clarinet. I have the brass solo horn, the solo trumpet, with the strings solo violin, solo cello, cello, and then I have string arcs. So this is this kind of sad, reflective music. It's nice to have string arcs instead of really using the multi-wheel. So this is. And I have different kind of intensities. So from piano to mezzo piano, piano to mezzo forte to forte, forte to fortissimo. And I have an enormous sul ponticelli. So it means the bow is being used close to the cam. I forgot what the name of it, but closer to get a really thin sound. And for this I'm using the multi-wheel actually now. And then I have a soft piano. I use the Spitfire piano here. And of course I have a guitar. So all very typical instruments that you can use for this kind of situations. So this is my little template. And now let's see if you can record something here. Let's put the sound. I like to keep it still, but a little bit lower so it doesn't overwhelm the volume of the soundtrack. Just a little bit there. Great. Like I said, no click track. And we just start with the piano to make a little bit. There's no hit point to go with, so I'm not going to put any markers, but I'm going to put it. It's very short, it's easy to remember, but normally I would add an extra track, an extra marker track, and then for the chord that I'm going to use. So it's. And also put it on linear, otherwise the chord will float around. You don't want that. So let's go there. I'm going to switch to my other camera. Because you want to play with it, right? So. There you go. Now let's see what we can do. I'm going to put it on. Cycle. So maybe so I can try stuff out also. Okay, let's start with the piano. Okay, so this is a lost. This is a lost. Somebody lost. Often the marriage is going to break up. So the piano should reflect this. So that's it. With the piano, you're going to use chord progressions, not really melodies, just chord progressions. Major, minor, mix, and chord progressions. Suspensions, sixth, fourth suspensions. Oh wait, where's my piano? Sus 4, or sus2 chords. And you just play a little bit around with seventh chords are very nice, of course. Maybe some sequence like fifth sequence. obvious. So just mostly it's just, let's see where it goes. Okay, let's see where it goes. Oh, that wasn't bad at all. I like it actually. So. So what did I use here? Let's fill in the chords. It starts with C minor. C minor, the chords. Start with C minor. And then I like to use small letters for the minor and big letters for the major. That's what I have been taught. So and then we're going to. Okay, we have the Spitfire soft piano I record. Now I'm going to put some layers on it. You know, the thing with 3 cameras, I have to check where I have to go the whole time. And it is nice actually to see the piano, the keys, how I'm playing, but I have to keep in mind when to switch. So now I'm going to add some layers, string layers. I have 4 different layers here, arcs, dynamic arcs. And just to keep this a little bit intimate, I'm going to use the softest one. It's piano to mezzo piano and back again. And so you can see, this is the instrument I'm using for this. The Audio Intimate Studio Strings. It's very nice one. So let's just follow the chords I added in the chord marker here. There we go. And of course we have to do something. Okay, I'm going to put Samsung Cam in there by the key. Let's have a try. I don't use the multifill right now because it is already arced dynamically, so I can just play the chords. A little bit too loud actually, but this is always you can, because even when they are arced already, you can still, I assume they are, yeah, they're velocity based, so I can, the key velocity, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Let's see. I'm not sure if they're velocity based. Yeah, they're velocity based, but also. Okay, this library responds on velocity and on mod wheel, so let's also bring the mod wheel down a little bit. Let's see. Let's keep it low. Much better now. Because you don't want to only turn down the volume, the track volume, because what you want here is the timbre of the instruments and not the track volume to change. You can easily just put it down the volume, but that would not change the harsh color of the strings. So let's listen to everything in context. I like it. I want to check just housekeeping. It goes to keys, goes to mix. Yeah, okay, this is nice. This is for the routing. So all the piano is routed to the keys, bass, and then goes to the mix, and then the stereo out. And all of them are set correctly. And this is the reverb set correctly. Let's have a look at the strings. I'm not sure if I did this correctly. Strings, mix, stereo out. Yes, it's okay. Okay, the next we can do is some how it works mostly. Very nice. The lower woodwind instrument, for example, the alt flute. Instead of the flute, we use the alt flute. So not the brilliant sounding instruments, but it's a divorce after all. Let's go to alt flute audio. And now we could need a melody here, or I'm going to use only layers. In the light of a bigger piece, the whole music, or a whole movie, we could use, for example, the theme of one of the characters. So we could use this for here, but so we just make up a theme, yeah. The divorce between two people, and the main character maybe is the woman in this case. So we could use her theme. What would be her theme in this case? We just make up a nice theme. Let's come up with a theme and following the harmony that we put here, the chords. And I always like to switch between the chords with common tones between the chords. So you have a C minor. Between C minor and G sharp, there is no common chord. Well, we could use the seventh. Let's see, the seventh of the chord. We could use the seventh chord, for example. And this is the seventh in the C minor chord, but it's also the third in the G sharp chord. So we could end on the B from here while it goes into the G sharp, and we do the same with this. We use common chord notes while switching between the harmonies. That's a nice way to stick everything together. So let's have a look at that. What melody I'm going to use, I have no idea. I will come up with it while I'm going. So, and this is multiple bass, not velocity based. So we start slow. Now this works perfectly. Okay, and then maybe only just a horn. With this kind of scenes, especially when there's a short, there shouldn't be too much going on. So I'm just only putting the horn, and I'm putting it on the dominant tones as like an extra support the dominant notes, on the dominant of the chord. So in this case on the G and on C minor I put it on. Let's have a look at the horn here. I can put it on the G and then here. So all the fifth note in all those chords. In the C minor that would be the G. In the no, you know what I'm going to change it. I'm going to make the smallest movement between the chords. So G here start and then we go to G sharp note. And then we go to in the E minor chord we go back to the G, which is the third in E minor. And then we can stay on the G in C minor because it's the fifth. So it's a very short movement. And that against the alto flute, it's going to be very nice, I think. So let's have a recording. And this is Emotive bass. And just to have a look which one. This is the East-West horn, solo horn. Okay, let's have a go. So with wind instruments, so woodwinds and brass, it's very important just to give them a little breathing also to keep the sound realistic. So don't use a really long note over 8 bars per chord, that wouldn't be very realistic. The players have to breathe. But I think this is actually enough for this little scene. Let's have a look to the whole piece. The only thing I would like to change here is the volume of the horn, because I don't hear it so well. And then I will have to go to the mod wheel. It is a little bit too intense. Eh? This is modulation bass. Okay, so we only have to change this part here. And then I want to pull up everything a little bit. And then in context, so the solo button off, we hear all the tracks. I think this works perfectly. Maybe the alto flute a little bit lower. Let's put it a little bit lower. It's a little bit too high up. Yeah, like what we can always do is extra things. I'm not going to adjust to the click track, so I'm not going to quantize it, because that would defeat the purpose. So what I want to do is at least make a little legato. So I select everything and I pull it a little bit without the snap button on, snap off. So the notes overlap a little bit. So give a legato feeling. You can listen to it. Yeah, it's very nice. You can also check this way the horn. Make sure that it's nice legato. Yeah, it's perfect. And we could check the strings, string patches. Actually, we could pull them up a little bit till the moment the order starts. Yeah, Emotive, you don't have to be so strict, but you can still do it. Let's see. See, there's a gap. It's nice to have it a little bit connected. So much better now. Yeah, this is a nice connect. So much better. So this you can fine tune it a little bit this way. Yeah, I think it's perfect. Okay, like this. Let's have it last listen for the volume check, and then I'm going to export it to video. I found this a little bit too loud. It's too intense, the horn. Pull it down a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's bounce it. And to export the video correctly, you have to I always put the marker track around the part that I want to export, and then export video. It's not lots of fun. It's beach walk. Beach walk, and we put it in the folder where it has to go. I put it always in a date. Let's see, Cubase, January 29 as an MP4. And then export range between the locators. That's why I set the locators just now here. And this is the codecs that, if not chosen correctly, can make somehow mess up the audio track, I noticed. Okay, export video. It's a very short 5 seconds, so we can just let it record. Nice to see. Export the video. There we go.